Hey Dutchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and welcome to my review of the 5th studio EP from Twine. This one is called Strung Out. Now, ever since I first heard of Twine, it was actually with his collaborative remix of Hello Kitty by Avril Lavigne with Barely Alive. I've always really respected and appreciated his sense of humor that he's included in his music. Since that point, he's kind of been a little bit overshadowed by artists like Getter, who have also made kind of similar music in that dubstep scene, while also incorporating the humor element and making just about the same styles. I've always thought Twine was a little bit underrated as a dubstep producer, considering his mixes are so dang dirty, and he's always really been a really steady dubstep producer. On his last EP, String Theory, I was absolutely in love with the title track. Reminded me a bit of Lax, which was odd because I didn't picture Twine putting out something like this, but I still liked it nonetheless, and I was absolutely crazy about his remix of Brain Dead by Zomboy. If you remember, I reviewed that remix album, and that was probably my favorite on the entire LP. So when Twine announced another EP and on Never Say Die, I was really hyped to hear what this thing would sound like. Never Say Die always puts out really awesome trailers, and the one for this one looked really good. Prior to hearing the entire EP, my favorites seemed to be Triggered and My Sound using a lot of reggae blend, which I thought was going to be more prominent in the final release, but it didn't actually seem to be when I finally got to the thing, and My Sound turned out to be probably the least diverse track on the EP, other than of course Copyright and the Copyright VIP, neither of which on this EP are really doing a lot for me. Of course, it's kind of interesting to hear Twine experiment with these high-pitched bell sounds across the board on the original of Copyright, and then the VIP kind of taking a little bit more of a bass house spin on it. On the other hand, Triggered as a track is holding up extremely well from where the preview was, even better probably than the preview showcased. I really like the Ghetto Blaster sample that's used throughout the track. That one was really catchy. The first drop is kind of your standard Twine dirty drop, and then the second one is some really freaking hard dubstep, which sounds drastically different from the first drop of this thing. Both Triggered and Crash Report have these really awesome and epic builds leading up to the drops, and probably two of the best builds I've heard in a while, especially on Never Say Die. Moving on to Crash Report, this one absolutely took me by surprise. I didn't think I was going to like this one as much as I did. Crash Report is a collaboration with hard dubstep producer Dr. Ozzy, who's also been releasing a lot on Never Say Die as well, and for the most part his stuff sounds very similar to Twine, so I was very pleased to see that this track was a collaboration between the two artists who seem to work very well together, and I'd like to see them do some kind of duo because this sounds so good. Crash Report has one of the biggest builds I've heard in the entire year, and one of the most nuts drops I've heard as well. This one actually has 3 different drops, all of which are fairly unique and different from each other, all while still retaining that really hard and dirty dubstep sound that Getter and Dr. Ozzy are famous for. This is the kind of thing that I feel like crowds go nuts for at dubstep shows, and I can already see why this track is the most popular. Absolute eargasm on this one. Triggered is also pretty good as well, and like I said, I really like that reggae influence on My Sound, but other than that, that one's not really doing much for me. Something really funny about that is that the original Copyright kind of seemed to be an anti-copyright song, and then obviously the VIP of the track is kind of trying to give the same vibe, but is now copyrighted within Never Say Die, and it's just kind of ironic if you think about it. It's very odd to see those 2 tracks on this EP, and the other 3 definitely fit a little bit better. Wouldn't be an EP I'd definitely skip over. There are a lot of EPs on Never Say Die and Disciple, a lot of other dubstep labels like Firepower, that I just tend to ignore because they're all kind of pushing out the same material. But this one is definitely one you don't want to skip over. Even if I wasn't absolutely in love with it, there are definitely some good jams on this, and made for a pretty likable EP for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and toss Twine a 4.5. Let me know if you guys want to see more dubstep reviews, because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone to be reviewing dubstep. It's something I want to listen to a lot more and be more critical of. And definitely send me some more unique dubstep stuff. Like, if people are releasing some awesome EPs and albums in dubstep, which I haven't seen a lot, make sure to forward those to me because I definitely am interested to listen to them. Anyway, I'm Landon Remixes, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.